I recently went to Twitter to ask my various Twitter people if they had any questions that they'd like to see me answer in video form. And longtime mutual Katney said, were you always so comfortable with your body, or is it something that you gained over time? If it's something you gained, what went into that? Start out, the short version is I was comfortable and then I was uncomfortable and then I became comfortable again for the most part. Grew up with rather in a rather nudity friendly household with my parents for the first several years. Then I got, around puberty time, I got, self-conscious and whatnot, and like you do. And then that didn't really change until I was an adult, young adultish. I always, for a long time, I wanted to have that kind of comfort. I wanted to just not care, just be like naked, there you go. But it's funny, I was shy and I was afraid, like so many people are. I'm not sure how common this is, but a huge part of that for me wasn't just, to some degree there was an element of just not wanting to be seen naked. Probably at least as much as that was not wanting to be seen with an erection. And even that wasn't so much that I didn't want to be seen as I didn't want to face whatever kind of consequences there would be from being seen with a boner. In retrospect, I'm not even sure what those consequences would have been, but so that was it for quite a while. When I was 19 and in a rock band, like you do, the drummer from one of the other bands was getting married. My band that I was in played at the pre-wedding party the night before, and I wasn't at the wedding, but I got tapped to go to the reception party just because someone was like, hey, we're going, show up. Coincidentally, that party was the first time where I tried marijuana, which not the last, certainly. And at the time, I didn't feel like I was high or stoned, largely because I didn't know what to expect. Afterwards, I was like, oh yeah, I was, but I just didn't really know it at the time. After the reception, I went back to the house where my band leader lived with some other music scene people, and I laid down on a couch in the sort of an open air front area between the door that gets you into the building and the door that actually gets you into the building from outside. There's a little sort of enclosed front patio thing. I laid down on a couch and took a brief nap, which made me completely pass out until it was dark. And then I woke up at some point. Whoa. The sun had gone down. There was this incredible racket going on. Apparently there was all the guitarists decided to have a jam session in the back room. So there was a room with like, I feel like it must have been like a dozen guys playing electric guitar. So it was just this massive sort of wall of noise. And I was still sort of, coming to normality. So I passed through the family TV room where everyone's playing guitar, and when you go into the room, it's way louder. So it's just this complete sort of sensory overload. And then I went out through the back door to where the swimming pool was. I don't even know what my plan was, but I went out, and the swimming pool is full of and surrounded by naked people in and out of the water and laughing and having fun. And at that point, instead of seeming like, oh, this is this scary thing I'm going to have to try to do, it was just like, oh, you just take off your clothes and get in. And so I did, and it was good, and it was awesome. And I was like, wow, I would do this all the time if I could. And I didn't, because I didn't have a swimming pool or access to a swimming pool or people who were doing that kind of thing around it all. So it just sort of like sat in the back of my mind for a while. And actually, one of the things that planted a seed in my mind a little bit later, a few years later, was about 27. I specifically remember an article online, I believe in Slate magazine, about a guy somewhere in the Bay Area who had it wasn't a public hot tub, but he let people use it and come and go. And his system was that he was some kind of, Bay Area tech dude. So he had a, combination keypad on the door that you could have any number of acceptable combinations. So, he would just give the number to people. They would give the number to people. So it wasn't open to the public, but it had a degree of openness, and people coming and going. And if it seemed that there was a problem, he could be like, oh, well, these are the logins that were used that night. And identify like, okay, this login, I'm going to discontinue, whatever. Long story short, it just sounded awesome. And I was like, wow, I would just like to have a place where I can go and be naked with people like that. Whether that's me having the place or whether there's someone else gets to take care of the maintenance and all of that. That's one of the things I talked to my wife about. It's like, hey, this sounds really cool, and she's like, oh yeah, that does sound cool, whatever. And we were in Oregon by this point, and so at some point we started seeing things in the paper about, what to do in the summer. And so we had a couple nude beaches in the area, and Brighton Bush Hot Springs was a big one. Not a nude beach, but a clothing optional hot spring resort that just sounded amazing. And we talked about it, and we booked a day on the 4th of July in the year 2000. In the year 2000. And we went out there and got naked, and it felt a little weird at first, like it does. And I remember early in the day, so I'd already gotten naked, and we got in, you get in the water, and it's fun and everything, but you're not super 100% comfortable. It takes a little time. And I remember thinking, I saw a guy walk up to the little sort of just a little bench and stuff near the hot spring pool. He walked up. He probably was wearing something that he took off, but I just saw him, walk up to the tub, totally naked, casually wave at his friends who were already in there, and get in. And I was thinking, like, wow, someday I want to have that kind of confidence being naked. And turns out, by the end of that day, I was most of the way there. And so after that is, just a matter of, going to either the hot springs or sometimes Common Ground Wellness Center with hot tubs here in Portland, and just gradually sort of getting used to it there. And then it became a thing where there were a few times when we invited friends to go, one or more friends to go along, and we did. A few years later, I thought that modeling for life drawing for artists would be a way to make money, which got me into looking at poses and things, which actually got me into just doing the drawing seriously for a while, going to life drawing events and copying pictures out of books and stuff, and really getting into that. The drawing sort of faded like so many other things do. I drifted into doing photography. I was really interested in the idea of doing nude photography, and I was often able to get models to work with. Generally not models with experience modeling, but they were modeling for me. And when I didn't have a model and wanted to do some, I would just shoot myself with a timer. I got a remote control and that kind of thing. And lifelong, so just keeping at that for over time and getting recreationally naked when possible. So I did have to get comfortable with it, and I kind of intentionally told myself I will get comfortable with this, and I will just sort of do it and get more comfortable as I do it, and I did, and it's fun and positive, and I recommend it. So, let's go to the beach, or if you have a swimming pool, have me over. Hot tub, have me over. That's it. Thank you.